Good evening, guys. Now I'm going to try and do D again for you. Remember what I said about the title. Title is Older Americans Are Aging Alone, and our system pretends not to notice. Okay? I'm going to explain the narrative I made for you. Okay, here we go. The stories arrive in fragments. A home care nurse finds an old man sitting in the dark because the light bulb burned out weeks ago, and he can't climb step stool. A pharmacist notices a woman hasn't picked up her medications and calls, only to learn she stopped driving after her last fall. A hospital discharge planner asks who can help at home, and the silence stretches long enough to make everyone in the room look down. These are not rare moments. They are becoming the quiet daily reality of aging in America, a country that still imagines every older adult has someone to lean on. Even as millions now age without family, we build elder care on the myth that someone will be there. A daughter who organizes pill boxes, a spouse who drives to appointments, a brother who checks the fridge. This invisible labor is the scaffolding that holds older adults upright. But for solo seniors, people who live alone, who have no children, or have outlived the people who once supported them, that scaffolding has vanished. And when it is gone, the world becomes precious in ways that are both small and enormous. A missed follow-up because a missed follow-up becomes a hospitalization. A skipped meal becomes frailty. A fall becomes a nursing home admission. Loneliness becomes a slow, quiet unraveling. Clinically, the pattern is unmistakable. Older adults without family decline faster, are hospitalized more often, and enter long-term care earlier. But the emotional truth is even sharper. They are navigating is a system that was never designed for them, a system that assumes a caregiver who isn't there. What makes this crisis so painful is that the solutions already exist. Community programs can deliver meals and companionship. Senior centers can offer belonging. Home care aides can help with bathing, dressing, and medication reminders. Care coordination service can act as the family member the system expects, but though these supports rarely reach the people who need them most. Without someone to advocate, fill out forms, arrange transportation, or simply explain what's available, solo seniors are effectively shut out. The door is technically open, but particularly unreachable. This is the quiet tragedy of aging alone. It doesn't erupt into accumulate. It accumulates a little more. Risk each week, a little more. Isolation each month, a little more vulnerability each year. And then one day, the system finally notices. Usually in an emergency room, we can no longer treat the absence of family as an incidental detail. It is a public health issue, one that demands intentional infrastructure rather than wishful thinking. Aging alone should not mean aging at risk. It should mean aging with support, dignity, and access to the full range of care options our communities already know how to provide. Older Americans are aging alone, and our system pretends not to notice. The warning signs are everywhere in our health system data, but they show up first in human stories. A home care nurse finds an old man sitting in the dark because he can't safely change a light bulb. A pharmacist calls a woman who hasn't picked up her medications, only to learn she stopped driving after her last fall. A hospital discharge planner asks who can help at home, and the silence stretches long enough to make the room feel smaller. These moments aren't anecdotal, they are symptoms of a structural failure the United States has built. Its elder care system on the assumption that everyone or every older adult has family. Millions do not. And because our policies still treat family caregiving as the backbone of aging, older adults without family are missing the very supports that could stabilize their health, extend their independence, and protect their dignity. The policy problem we refuse to name. Our long-term care system is not designed around clinical need. It is designed around the presence of a daughter. Federal and state programs, Medicaid, HCBS waivers, Older Americans Act, services, transportation benefits, nutrition supports, all assume someone will help an older adult navigate eligibility, complete forms, coordinate appointments, manage medications, and advocate when something goes wrong. This invisible labor is treated as a private resource rather than a public necessity. For solo seniors, that labor simply doesn't exist. And the consequences are measurable. Higher hospitalizations rates, further faster functional decline, earlier nursing home placement, and deeper social isolation. Lack of family is a predictable risk factor. Yet our policies treat it as incidental detail. The supports that exist but don't reach solo seniors. We already have programs that could transform their lives, the lives of older adults aging alone. Home and community-based services that provide personal care, homemaking, and safety checks. Senior center networks offering meals, transportation, and social connection. Care coordination programs that can act as the family member. The system assumes community-based interventions proven to reduce isolation and improve health outcomes. But these supports rarely reach solo seniors because access itself requires a caregiver. Without someone to navigate the system might as well be closed. What policy must do? We need to treat absence of family as a public health condition, one that triggers automatic support rather than leaving people to fend for themselves. A policy forward approach includes universal care coordination access for older adults living alone, automatic eligibility pathways for HCBS when no one or no caregiver is present, proactive outreach using health system data to identify solo seniors at risk, integrated transportation benefits that don't require a caregiver to schedule or accompany. Funding for social connection infrastructure, not just medical care. Cross agency collaboration between health systems, aging services, housing authorities, and community organizations. These are not radical ideas. They are overdue corrections to a system built on outdated assumptions. The moral and policy imperative. Aging alone should not mean aging at risk. It should mean sitting in the it should not mean sitting in the dark, skipping medications, or falling through bureaucratic cracks. It should mean aging with the same dignity, safety, and support we promise to everyone else. The solutions exist. The need is clear. The only missing piece is the political will to build an elder care system that recognizes reality. Millions of Americans are aging without family, and they deserve a system designed for them. Okay, guys, that's your shows for tonight. I will be on tomorrow for shows. Until then, Gator Wellness, take care, folks. Have a good evening.